So every now and then I will see, even in Sale where I live at the moment, I'll see a group of bikes coming down the road, young men on the bikes, no helmets, wearing black, no number plates on the motorbikes, and then they just kind of screech off at high speed, or sometimes they'll go on the pavement or whatever it might. Only occasionally, but I do see it, and these are basically youths who have got an illegal bike, and they're just driving around having a bit of fun or whatever it is off the road. So one of the articles you picked up on here is that the off-road bike unit in the police is going to be re-established to try and stop these youths.
Yeah.
Having a bit of fun as far as I can see, Nick. I don't have a problem with them.
You will when they smash into your car and drive off, or smash in your car, you kill one of them, and then you're involved in a 2-year legal dispute about was it really your fault. You can get no money off them because they're not insured. Or your daughter's walking on the street and one drives right into a bike accident and smashes their face open. So that's where the issues are for the general public. I didn't know the police had disbanded their off-road bike unit, because off-road bikes has been one of the top complaints of antisocial behaviour in Greater Manchester for decades.
Oh, really?
Now. I was dealing with this 20 years ago in East Manchester. And there's a way of tackling this. First of all, we need...
Does this tend to happen more in kind of council estates and working class areas than... Are they driving around more in those areas than they are? Right,
because that's where a lot of them live. But you also get issues if you live next to a big park or some nice huge green fields, because they want to be going on there. There's been many incidents where the local football pitch has been tore up because these bikes went on a Sunday evening, and now the kids can't play football on anymore. Or they're in the park, so you don't let your kids in the park in case one of these kids drives into you, or drives into your child. It's extremely dangerous because no tax, no insurance, no license, no helmet for them. The reason why they get away with it is because so many decades ago, the police, again from political decision above it, went, we're not going to chase people on motorbikes if they haven't got a helmet, because they may come off and the police will get blamed.
They may come off and hurt themselves.
Police will get blamed.
Yeah.
So we don't chase them anymore.
Yeah.
So what message did that send to all these communities? It meant, buy one, if you see the police ride off, they can't chase you. In fact, you might have been riding your illegal bike with a helmet because you're sensible, but you can get chased. So now you're forced now to take your helmet off so the police won't chase you. It was a wrong message to send. I'll be scrapping that directive, that guidance, if I become police crime commissioner. We'll be chasing anybody on the road on a legal bike. If they come off and kill themselves, the mayor will take full responsibility, and I'll basically say personal responsibility. If you're a child, it's your parents' fault. If you're an adult, it's your fault, because you're breaking the law, and we will pursue anybody breaking the law in Greater Manchester. But if the police now are going to bring back this policing unit, which are off-road bikes for police officers, they're not very good at catching them, but they're good as a deterrent. How we catch people off-road bikes is by community intelligence. So we say to the community who are reporting these issues, tell us where these bikes live, because we'd rather get the bike with no one on it.
Yeah.
So if the bike lives at number 5 Coronation Street, and we go, right, that's a council house, it's a housing association property. We speak to the council, we speak to the housing association, we get a housing officer, we knock on the door, and we go, hi, yeah, I'm from the housing association. We've come to talk to you about antisocial behaviour in the area. Can we come in? Yeah, come in. Right. What's that bike, motorbike, doing in your kitchen? That's against your tenancy. You only get a warning now for this, having a dangerous petrol-filled bike in your house. That needs to get outside now. So the mum goes, right, get outside. The second they push it outside the house, the police goes, and now I'm confiscating it now because it's on a public highway. No tax, no insurance, I've confiscated it.
It's right in the garden there.
You've got to, yeah, but the housing officer goes, I want it off the property. The second it hits the pavement, the police officer can seize it. That's how we did it in East Manchester, and we took hundreds, literally hundreds off the streets. Then, a month later, we would organise in Asda car park in East Manchester a crushing event where we would get this bike crusher that would come with an arm. We'd have all the bikes on display. They would pick them up, put them in the crusher and crush them into little boxes, and we'd take photos, and we'd say to the people who are watching it, this is what we're going to do if you buy your kid an off-road bike.
This all sounds quite brutal and seems to be a victimisation of young working class white men.
Add the word criminal on the end of it, criminal men.
And I would like to maybe challenge this and say, let's make, isn't the answer to this not being brutal like this, but actually making it easier for a young man to buy, tax, insure and ride a motorbike? Because when I was a kid, in the 70s, all young guys, 16, 17, had what we call mopeds. Yeah. They were mopeds, they were 50cc motorbikes, but they actually were really, really well made and they went really fast and they were proper little motorbikes. They were cheap to buy, they were very fast, they were cheap to insure, and as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old boy, it's great to have those things. But now, to buy a motorbike, you've got to pass certain tests. You've got to do this. You've got to do. So, by the way, you could drive these things without any tests. Yeah. Just stick a learner plate on. Now it costs a fortune. You've got to take a test. You've got insurance is high. The government, the council, whoever it is, are pricing people out of vehicles every single day. The proportion of men now who have a car, drive a car, has dropped right down. The proportion of 17-year-olds who pass their test when they're 17 has dropped right down because motoring is so expensive for young people. Isn't that the answer?
That's not the answer.
Rather than you crushing their motorbikes.
But it's a very good point. This feeds into the government's agenda for decades now of driving us off cars and motorbikes onto public transport.
Yeah.
So this does feed into that. Part of the answer would be, part of the problem is many of these young people wouldn't want a legal bike because they want to do what they want to do on that bike. And you'd lose your license if you're on the pavement. You'd lose your license for some of these things. But we have driven, you're right, we have driven some of the law-abiding individuals away from public transport, especially at 16, 17, 18 years old because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
Some of these problems are very complicated. I don't know how we get around some of those issues. We couldn't have taxpayers' money subsidising insurance for 16, 17-year-olds or buying them bikes. There's a market out there that the prices are the prices. We could reduce insurance by the government stop dictating what insurance, the extras on it. So we pay tax on insurance now. There's all sorts of things that would reduce insurance if government kept out of the way. But as initial response as mayor, who doesn't have that many powers, my only response would be they're illegal, they need to stop.
Yeah, I understand what you're doing. Yeah. What you're doing is addressing a genuine complaint of people about a particular situation, and that's your answer. I'm just saying, is the reason it's occurred in the first place because of the draconian impact that legislation's had on young people being able to drive vehicles of any kind, really?
Like most problems, there'll be many, many parts of why we have this problem.
If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around, tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.